Hello, dear students. Good morning. Today we are going to discuss a story, The Umbrella by Guy de Maupassant, French writer. His full name is Henry Rene Albert Guy de Maupassant. He is known for his twist as well as satirical approach in his writing. We generally find the daily life and the objectivities. He wrote about 300 stories, six novels, and three travel books, and one verse volume. This story originally written and published in 1884 under the French title Le Parapluie and published in the French newspaper Gil Blas. In this story, writer discusses about the frugalness and the miserness of a certain lady. Here there are certain characters. With minimum characters, the writer highlights the maximum themes and the sub-themes. There are so many themes that can be discussed as per or the based on the text. The story is Mr. Oril is a head clerk in War Office, and Mrs. Oril, the heroine or the protagonist in this story, is an economical and a short-tempered woman. She has tight hold of the house, and the husband is the market pennies. Even a maid can't manage from her. She knows all the multiple ways of money adding and several money aid sayings. Whenever her husband says that you might be more liberal and we never spend our income. Really, the tragedy of this pair was that they had no children. Although they had enough money, they lived very comfortably. But it was the tragedy in their life. Even Mrs. Oril never heed. Oh, at this point, she kept under control Mr. Oril, and for 2 years Mr. Oril in his office carrying the old patched umbrella. For this old patched umbrella, he had become the view of the matter of the man of the joke and mock, joking and mocking of his office colleagues. And at last he was tired up, and one day he asked to his wife to purchase a new one. She purchased for 8.5 francs from the advertising company that is very common in Paris. Thousand and thousand people have. The next day, Mr. Oril goes to office. The colleagues made his more fun, mocked much, and he was himself very insulted. He was tired up, and one day when he returned from the office, he asked to Mrs. Oril to purchase him a new one with a good silk, durable silk, about 20 francs. And one thing also he says that is very humorous, that bill also should be submitted. Mrs. Oril purchased the new one, and she even bargains for 20 francs. He purchased paying 18 francs. And when Mr. Oriel gets, he found himself very triumphed one, and he goes very happily to his office next day. But who knows, the tragedy happened, a great tragedy took place when in evening he returns. And Mrs. Oriel interrogatively asked, and investigatingly watched the umbrella. There was a hole as big as a coin, and she got very angry. She asked him about the tragedy, what happened. You, and Mr. Oril very ignorantly didn't pay. But when she took under his nose, he swayed. He doesn't know what happened and what's the matter. After the raised and such a courage, she mended it, cut out from the old umbrella that was faded, and made him promise that now for 5 years there will be no umbrella. You will not have any umbrella. So you have to be very careful about this umbrella. But who knows, when the other day, the next day he returns from office, and Mrs. Oril washed, and she was very raised, out of raised, having this umbrella patched with the ash of a cigar. It seemed someone the cigar on this poured down and got several holes. She got very angry. She asked to Mr. Oril what happened. He swore and swore, and he promised that what's the matter, probably due to enviousness someone did it, and he doesn't know. The storm in the house played about an hour, and when she was cursing him, she was telling him, declaring for him that you brute, you have gone mad. Such a storm was going on for an hour. There was a call at the bell, ring bell, and Mr. Oril was calmed down. He was saved by the ring of the call bell. And there was a friend invited for dinner. As he was submitted the case, the matter, the fellow was an ordinary fellow, and he spoke very sensibly, he advised very sensibly, because Mrs. Oril had already threatened him that now he will go without umbrella. Then he says, if it's so, he will get his clothes spoiled, and that is also worse than the earlier one. Then she says, if it rains, then he can carry kitchen umbrella. For this declaration, Mr. Oril says, I will not ruin my life. I will not carry kitchen umbrella. And he also declares very determiningly with the courage. He collected the courage and spoke very strictly before his wife that he will resign from his post. Even he won't carry this umbrella. For this, the friend also says that why don't they claim for the insurance companies to pay, and this was very surprisingly, this was very inspiringly to Mrs. Orrill. It revolved and revolved. Very firstly, she says to Mr. Orrill that tomorrow on your office way, when you go before, you have to go to the company and ask them to pay this damage. Mr. Orrill strictly denies. I won't go for such trivial loss. I won't do it. Then she thought and thought about the company compensation. Already in the house, she is the soldier. She is the brave soldier before husband, how she crushed husband and keep him under the thumb. But in society, in social gathering, she has no courage. And she became very nervous, very first thinking about the insurance company. But however, she manages and leaves for the insurance company. At last, when she finds the manager very busy, discussing with other fellows and talking about the 4 lakhs and lakhs, then she becomes also more nervous because here she is for 18 francs uh, compensation and there about 4 lakhs discussion. When manager got himself free, he asks her what can he do for her. She says, I am Mrs. Orrill and I am here. She shows the umbrella for this damage. I would like to you to pay for this damage as your insurance, fire insurance company. At the first sight of this, he was startled, he was surprised, and he very earnestly told her that here this matter is not related to my company, to me, because as the handkerchiefs, gloves, slippers, brooms are not acclaimed here. For this reply, she says, Mr. Manager, last December, our chimneys, one of chimneys burned, caught fire, and we didn't claim for the payment. About 500 francs cost. Even we didn't claim for payment. For this, the manager also surprised and he mockingly, a very mocking way asked, Madam, you say your one of chimneys caught fire and got 500 franc damage. And here for 5 or 6 francs you are here. 5 or 6 francs you are here. Then she replies that it was matter related to Mr. Orrill. The money from Mr. Orrill's pocket and the damage of umbrella relating to me. When manager found that she was very abundant and she can't be get rid of. He turned the view and he asked for a while, Madam, how it got. Then she also made a story, a fiction, and she says the other day when I came in, I to light the candle got four matches, and when very first I struck, then second, then third, and fourth. The three also struck out. When the fourth, I went to my room to sleep and found myself that something is burning. In this way, it happened. The manager smiling, and his smile means he was taking the view from her story. That is the fictitious one. What a lady! And at last, when he finally knew that there was no other way to get rid of her, he says, what can I do? Then she says that it's I bought in 20 francs, but I just want to pay money for repairing cost, and I will submit you the bill. I want you only to pay the cost for repairing. Durable silk. When manager gives a slip to go to cashier, she gets and having permission, she finds herself very victorious and runs to the market, then finds the big shop where she says to the counter that I just want to recovered this umbrella, good and durable silk. And at last she says, I don't care for the cost. It's not matter. I don't mind for the cost for recovered silk, and that is the end. You go through the summary and you will find how humorously, satirically, ironically the writer presents the end of this story is very twistful, and I hope you will take the underlying meaning. Meet you in next video. Thank you.